I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
Talk Radio. Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Blog Talk Radio. Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, Executive Producer of the Female Solution Radio Show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Join us live on the on-air radio network. Call 727-731-5192. We want to talk to you. And Grand Rising. Thank you all for joining us on this Wednesday edition of the Female Solution Global Radio TV show.
I'm Naima Latif, and we'll soon be joined with our co-host Kareem Hamid and our American Muslim 360 family, and we want to talk to you because there's an issue that is constantly a source of agitation, and we need to look at it differently so that we can respond differently and not be manipulated into being at war with each other. Our goal is always to create peace. And peace is a state of mind, it's a state of being. And if we are diligent in our observation of things, we can determine when we're being manipulated to fight each other and be at war with each other so that we all lose that which belongs to all of us. There is enough for everybody to have enough. There's enough land, there's enough space, there's enough places to grow food so that no one needs to starve. There's enough ways to make our water supply drinkable for everybody. There is enough. And yet we panic when someone enters our space and we see it as an invasion of people about to take our things. So today we want to take a look at the migrant issue. Some have called it a crisis, but it's only a crisis because of the way we've been manipulated to see it in a state of fear. We're going to talk about that and look at some other ways of addressing those who have suddenly in hordes come to our cities with no game plan as to how they're going to survive. And then suddenly the resources that we were told didn't exist have magically materialized. Well, that's an opportunity for us to see that people in government have not been honest, so that we can now request more honesty and request that all people receive what they need to survive. It's not hard. You do it when you want to. So now we're going to convince you that you want to. Otherwise, you can't keep the job we've given you. It's a very simple thing and a decision we can make during these times of an election season. So we're going to take a quick break and come back and take your calls. 515-605-9325 or 515-605-9891. We're going to be connecting with our American Muslim 360 channel. And you can call us on the on-air radio network at 727-731-5192 because we want to talk to you. And we'll be right back after this quick break, so stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be back in a moment, so stay with us.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif. Join me and my co-host Kareem Hamid every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the Female Solution Radio Show as we explore that relationship that is the foundation for our society, the relationship between men and women, husbands and wives. Join our discussion as we seek to repair broken family ties and rebuild our community. Listen online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. Call in and comment 515-605-9325 1 to speak to our host. Or you can join us live on Facebook at www.facebook.com/the-female-solution.
And we are back. You're listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif, and we'll be joined shortly with our co-host Kareem Hamid and our American Muslim 360 family. And we want you to join this conversation because it's time for us to resolve what has been presented to us as a crisis, but it is not. People have been migrating around the world ever since people have been on this earth. Travel to another location does not need to mean, that the people that are already in that location should be in fear. Now, we have had a history of people coming to other places with weapons and aggressively taking over the land where they live by killing the existing people. We have in our cellular memory those things that have happened. And so there's an automatic alarm when someone comes and is threatening the well-being of the existing indigenous people. But it's not necessary that every time someone migrates, there has to be a conflict. There have also been many times in history of the world that people have come and have befriended the native people.
The female is the first teacher. You know when it says paradise lies at the foot of the mother, that paradise is the state of the child, of the newborn child.
Absolutely. So we're going to be joining our co-host Kareem Hamid and having this discussion about what we need to do in order to remove the panic from those migrants that have come and have been a part of much of the discussion as to what is the political agenda for those who allowed them to come and suddenly found resources for them that were not available for the people who had been here for decades, struggling without housing or employment. So rather than be angry at each other, what we need to do is befriend each other and rearrange the government that has created the conflict. First of all, by interfering in the workings of another country, creating an economic crisis, and causing the people to begin the self-destructive behavior that happens when people fear that there's not enough. And they begin to steal, and they begin to organize in gangs that steal and make money in ways that are harmful. People do this out of fear. And the fear is created by an artificial condition caused by government decisions. So it's time to pull the covers off and see who's truly in bed together. And that's a real graphic description, but that's what's happening. People that are working together to create chaos for economic benefit, it needs to stop. But we don't have to be pawns in the scheme to get us to fight each other and lose all that we have and manipulate people to change the politics of a nation. What we can do is see the opportunities. So let's see if we can join our co-host, Kareem Hamid.
We view investing as a business partnership. We're seeking to identify companies with
And we'll be right back
feel good about the way that they
this
manage
public
the
service
business,
announcement
the way they approach
to
diversity
discuss
amongst
migrants
their
in
executive
America.
suite and within their board of directors,
Is
the
it
way they treat their employees, their communities, the environment.
To set an example, Saturna is eager to showcase how we practice ESG at home, focusing on employee wellness, community engagement, and environmental initiatives.
We translate these things every day.
and are we going into a crisis, or is this a growth opportunity? So we'll be right back after this brief announcement.
Investing. Alhamdulillah, we are back. My sister is not present yet.
Yes, I am.
I'm trying to reach her by phone. Let me share this public service announcement with you as I try to reach her by phone, connect with her, and we look forward to her presence here on the Female Solution. So I ask you to have patience. Don't touch that dial. Inshallah. Okay, I see it. She just sent me a message. Praise be to Allah. She changes her phone number so much. Okay, let me open up this. Unmuted.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum, Naima.
Wa alaikum salam.
If you would, Naima, if you would please press 1 on your phone when you call in, then that will identify for me that your precious presence.
Well, as I said, I'm calling you from our studio phone. I find that works better, but there isn't a way to press 1 when I call from the studio phone. So that's why I tried to call you to let you know, but you didn't answer your phone. So this is the number that I'll be calling from now on. It's directly from the studio, and I find that the sound is better, so we can have a clearer connection. Yes. So we have to keep trying things until we figure out the best system, and so here we are. So we've been talking about today's topic because there's been so much agitation about the migrants and the people who have come from Venezuela and have found themselves suddenly in an environment that's colder than they expected. The language is not their native language. They've had to learn how to use apps on the phone to translate. And then people are angry because they're seeing the government that told them there wasn't enough for them suddenly come up with money and housing. And so there's a lot of anger and potential for increased violence unless we circumvent that by seeing this differently. So this is our intention today, to change the narrative about this situation so that we don't end up getting pitted against each other for other people's political gain. And if we're smart enough to figure it out, then we can actually benefit from this sudden inflow of people speaking another language. So we pose the question, what if you could learn another language? Learn a lesson in history, sociology, culture, politics, economics, and perform a valuable act of charity. Well, these are the opportunities for personal growth, now available as a result of the unexpected migration of families out of Venezuela. What a wonderful chance we have to learn firsthand how the U.S. government policies can impact the quality of life for citizens in other nations. This migration has also given the opportunity for savvy tech experts to create language translation apps that remove language barriers. We can even discover the reality that there is no lack of resources. There is truly enough for all. We just need to learn how to share. So today we're reversing the fear-based propaganda surrounding migrants and embracing this experience as the growth opportunity it really is. Now, this may be a stretch for some people who want to be mad and want to throw people out and talk about, well, we need to vote for Trump because he's going to kick out the migrants. Well, we need to vote for Biden because he's going to do something else. I mean, all these things. And really, we are constantly being manipulated as a population. People have been migrating to other countries and other lands since human beings walk the face of the earth. And you can make that interaction a friendly one or a hostile one. It's always your choice. We know, of course, for example, that Africans sailed here to America centuries before Columbus thought of the idea of sailing west to get to the east. And we know that the interaction was peaceful. We know that the people left remnants of their trade, whether it was pieces of gold or structures and monuments they built. We know this for a fact, historically, whether it's the book that came before Columbus or even other books that have been written and other accounts, monuments, pyramids. We know that people came and interacted and did not kill each other. They learned from each other. So that's a possibility. And that's always an opportunity. It doesn't have to be hostile. It only becomes hostile when others manipulate you with the idea that you need to take what others have, or you're out of fear that they're going to take what you have if you're the people to whom they migrated. We know that when the Europeans first came here to America, the indigenous people welcomed them as odd-looking strangers, but they welcomed them and saw their ignorance and knowing how to survive in this climate, didn't know anything about farming or how to survive on the land, so they were able to teach them how. That's what you do when you're a good neighbor. You help. It's the attitude of the Europeans who were coming out of a hostile environment in Europe. They were being kicked out, basically. The overrun jails were emptied and people were sent abroad with the attitude that they had, that probably got them in jail in the first place, of stealing from other people. And so when a thief comes, what do thieves do? They steal. But not everybody who comes to you is a thief. So we have a population of people, some of them who've come, they're just regular family people looking for a way to keep their children safe, and some who are coming to look for ways to steal. We don't know who's who, but we should not fear everybody just because they've come to our cities. You have to be able to treat people in the way human beings should be treated, while at the same time letting people know that illegal, unlawful behavior is not acceptable and there are consequences. So, how do we do that when there's fear of everybody? And, when you deprive people of basic needs, even if they were not inclined to thievery, it can easily become a way of life as a means of survival. So it doesn't have to be. But how do we change the attitude that has been created of fear so that those who are here can contribute to the well-being of the society until they're ready to go back to their homes, which most would like to do if their homes could be made safe. And how do we pull the covers off of a government that's been deceptive and instigating conflict and creating an environment that's unsafe that caused them to flee? And is this the only country in which we're doing this? No, it isn't. So, how do we take back control of government policy so that we are no longer observing the destruction of other people's homes, forcing them to come and try to make a home where we live? So that's our conversation today. And we've already got some callers on the line. And of course, press 1 if you have a comment you'd like to make. And we definitely want to hear from those who may have been personally impacted by the inflow of migrants, because we do want to make some choices this upcoming election season based on the attitude and the plans of those who we propose to put into office. How do you make this a humane situation? And how do you share the resources with those who deserve to partake in them because they were here already? How do we keep the population from turning on itself and creating conflict that turns to violence? So, Brother Kareem, there you have it.
I have heard the comments of those that are for stopping immigration, and they couch their conversation around fear. Around fear, they have classified the immigrants as criminals, rapists, robbers, as if the United States, is a crime-free zone.
Yes.
And with the coming of immigrants, come on now. As if this is a country where there is no crime, everyone's living in peace and kumbaya. That's not the case. Crime has been here in this country ever since its founding. With the coming of immigrants, let's not act as if they will be the source of crime. They are using fear to halt the immigration from Central South America and Mexico. In a lot of cases, these people are fleeing from crime. The structures of their government is very weak, and there have been street gangs formulated, and they are terrorizing the citizens. Matter of fact, let us take a look at the island of Haiti, where chaos has ran rampant, anarchy has ran rampant because the government, praise Allah, is weak and in league with street gangs. But every time the Haitian tries to come here, he is turned back. He is not welcome, as if the United States doesn't already have crime. I'll venture to say that, as I said, at the inception of this country, they committed crimes, the extermination of a whole people, to take people's land, to destroy their ways of life. Inshallah, maybe these new immigrants may be the shot in the arm that this country needs. I find the Hispanics to be very industrious, those that we call Hispanics. They seem to be very industrious, and there's a quality that they have. that I hope that we can reinvigorate within us. They are very family oriented, very family oriented. So they bring that with them, and we through our interaction with them, inshallah, we can strengthen our families as we see how close knit they are. People don't walk thousands of miles just to come and steal something from you. You know what I'm saying? They are using fear and turning the human being against each other. That's a scheme that has been utilized throughout the earth to turn the human being against each other, and they use fear. There was a act that was enacted in the mid 1800s, the Asian Exclusion Act. The Asian Exclusion Act, because of the fear of losing jobs and racism. It is the Asians that played a large part in constructing the rail system that we have in this country. Many people bring gifts with them and skills with them, and certain cultural values with them. And through interacting with others, we enjoy the culture and the strength that they bring with us. This may be a good shot in the arm that the United States needs, for our families are almost in shambles. But here's people that love their families so much that they will walk thousands of miles to seek safety and sanctuary for their themselves and their children. Let us behave as human beings, and welcome them, and offer the human assets that we have, because we're all one people. We're all one people, and these people are fleeing tyranny. They are looking for a better life for themselves. They want to turn the U.S. citizens against the immigrants that are coming to this country. That is I don't find that to be healthy. I think that among all people, they bring a value with them. They bring a value with them as they enter this country. So we shouldn't, be so vehemently against immigrants, especially us, especially the African Americans. We should have learned and know the schemes that are played in this country concerning dividing human beings. They use fear tactics. And yes, I agree. All of a sudden, there's money. There's money to house and support the new immigrants. But the money has always been there. But the money has been withheld from certain citizens in this country to keep them in a weak political and productive activity. But when war is mentioned, they come up with billions of dollars. Billions.
Yes.
This country has been involved. It seems like it's always on a war footing. Always on a war footing. And they spend billions on the production of arms to kill human beings. I mean, so we need to don't hate those that are seeking refuge. Address the policies of this country, and above all things, shed off racism. There is a prediction that the United States, at a certain at a certain year, where the Caucasian would not be the majority in this country. And those that fear that are trying to turn that evolving process backwards. But the born is happening. It's called the browning of America. People bring cultural assets that we all can learn from. They bring education in certain areas that we could definitely use. So I'm just saying, let us not be hateful toward other human beings. Let's address the policies of this country, which is a legitimate question to ask. Where is all of this money coming from? Where has it been?
Right. Where was it?
Yes. You know, it's not the immigrants. It's not them. It's
not.
The policies of this country. And let us not allow them to use fear as if crime never happened in America. Stop it. Stop it.
Stop it.
Come on,
right.
Y'all.
Right.
I'll stop right there, myself.
Well, you're right on point. Yeah, it's not as if we didn't have crime here already. Anybody coming here, they're risking getting embroiled in the existing crime problem that we have. So for us to act like, oh, this was peaceful, now they're bringing all these problems. No, these problems were here already because of the attitude that was created, again, by the lack of fair distribution of opportunities and resources. And so people have been turned on each other on purpose. And crime has become a business. Punishment for crime has become a business. So rather than make things equal, you simply punish people for responding to the fear that they're going to be forced to live in a state of lack. So we have to turn that around. Now we have on the screen, for those who are watching us on Facebook and YouTube channels, the map of the world, which shows exactly where Venezuela is. It's in red if you're watching. And of course, you can go to the Female Solution on Facebook or the Female Solution on YouTube and see the map we've got up on the screen. So for those who didn't learn geography, which if you went to public school, you probably didn't, this is where it is. It's South America. And you can see that it's right at the tip. And of course, you have an ocean between Venezuela, which is at the northern shore of South America. And in order to get to America, the North American continent, you've got to either take some boats or fly a plane. Most people did not have planes. Most of them came by boat. And then there's also land that you can travel going up through the southern part of the United States, going through Mexico. But we know that the state of Texas was a location that many came through at first. And if you're looking at the map, you can see why, because Texas is there on the shore. Also is Florida. But now the people have been shipped inland where the weather is colder and the cities are more crowded with, as Brother Kareem said, there was already an existing crime and homeless problem. So you introduce a population into an already distressed population, and what do you get? More distress, unless we respond differently. So we got to take a quick break. And when we come back, I want to play a video clip of the mayor of this city when he was first elected, and then the migrant population was basically housed in police stations, and it was a mess. And as a new mayor, he was thrust into this mess, as all elected officials who didn't create this problem find themselves. And just the process of trying to humanize people with going around and greeting them and seeing the conditions they lived in. But we're going to take a quick break and come back with that video clip. And we invite you to stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be back in just a moment with our co-host Kareem Hamid, our American Muslim 360 family. And we want to hear from you. Give us a call, 515-605-9325 or 515-605-9891. And press 1 when you're ready to speak. And we'll come right to you and get your thoughts. And if you're joining us on the on-air radio network, that's 727-731-5192. And we'll come to you and hear what you have to say. We'll be right back after this brief message. So stay with us.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're 3 Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also 3 sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're 3 Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, 3 Black Moms.
Join us every second Saturday of the month noon to 2 p.m. Central Time here on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show for Neighborhood of Joy. Who want to know why? So call it 605-935 and press 1 to speak to the host. Live on the Female Solution Facebook page and YouTube channel. See you on the second Saturday of the Neighborhood of Joy. I'm Beata, your holistic life coach. These days, it's more important than ever to work on your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Are you consciously breathing deeply in stressful moments? Do you have a plan or daily routine to maintain balance in your awesome body? Are you struggling to be disciplined in your eating habits? When you partner with me, I'll help you develop a personalized health plan that works for your particular lifestyle. You can find out more about me at yourholisticlifecoach.com, where you can also review my 3-step protocol to guide you to abundant health. That's yourholisticlifecoach.com, and I'm Beata.
And we are back. You're listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif, along with our co-host Kareem Hamid and our American Muslim 360 family joining us on this Wednesday. Now, if you're on our switchboard and if you're on our Blog Talk switchboard, you need to press 1 now, because if you wait until like 5 minutes before it's time for the show to end, you won't have time to speak because we'll be wrapping up and ready to go. So if you have a comment, please make a decision to say something while there's time for you to speak, because we don't want to rush you off at the end of the show. But for those listening online, the show does end promptly at 9 o'clock. So we want to make sure that all of our online listeners can hear what you have to say. Today, we're talking about the migrants in America. Is it a community crisis or a growth opportunity? Well, we got some callers, and let me quickly play this clip because many people were touched in the beginning at the realization that families, mothers with babies were sleeping on the floor of police stations. And so they wanted to do something, but there again was fear. Who are these people? And are they criminals? So let's take a look at this.
Ages 13.
Oh, that's the right one. And let's see. Oh, here we are over here. And when we saw this condition, there was also a conflict in the city council that came with a lot of anger over whether or not to allot money for these families. So here they are. And this.
We assess Casa Michoacan to make sure everybody who has an appointment USCIS has their appointment here in Chicago. And we've already made sure that we're coordinating for City Key as well to begin the process of identification.
And how fast is that process going?
Y este es el alcalde de la ciudad, el alcalde Johnson. Es el alcalde Johnson de la ciudad.
Un placer. Agradecido por estar acá.
He's grateful for being here. Estamos agradecidos de estar aquí.
Gracias.
We're going to find the support that you need.
Él va a encontrar el apoyo que se necesita para poder.
Gracias.
Okay, gracias. Your hair looks good too.
Se ve bien el cabello.
Apenas llegué, me hice un corte de cabello una vez porque venía un poco maltratado del viaje y todo el recorrido.
It's the first thing that he did was he had a rough journey, long journey. But first thing that he did.
Well, I'm glad you're able to get yourself stable and cleaned up, and we're going to work to get the support that's needed to ensure that you want this to be your home.
Le dije que está buscando todo lo posible para los recursos, para que tenga más estabilidad y puede hacer todo lo posible para que puedan quedarse aquí también.
Muchísimas gracias, agradecida a nosotros también por ustedes, porque desde que llegamos aquí nos han recibido muy bien. Gracias a Dios.
They're grateful they so far they have felt, welcome.
Ya de todo lo que hemos repasado, recorrido, los 8 países que hemos pasado, ya esperar acá ya es súper agradecido y hay que esperar el tiempo que sea necesario para esperar la ayuda.
So they said that they have a long journey, 8 countries they have traveled, so to be here, even though they have to wait, they just have to be here, they'll wait, and they're thankful.
Yeah, well, thank you for your perseverance.
Gracias por su perseverancia.
No, gracias a ustedes.
Gracias a ustedes.
All right. Where did you go to get his haircut?
Dice que no diga dónde fue a ver el corte para él, dice para él.
Ya, no, gracias
Estamos
a
en
ustedes.
contacto. Sí, mi oficina,
Gracias,
mi jefe personal del comandante de aquí en Lucar. Entonces, vamos a estar aquí a las órdenes y vamos a tratar de apoyar lo antes posible.
Gracias. Gracias por venir.
No, sí, claro. Okay.
Meet these other families over here.
Oh, yeah. Hola, buenas. ¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo está? Yo soy el concejal Cito López y el alcalde Johnson, jefe personal y el alcalde de la ciudad. Congratulations. Nice to meet you. Mucho gusto conocerlos.
Igualmente, un placer.
It's a pleasure.
like Chicago so far?
¿Cómo les gusta? Si les gusta Chicago hasta ahora.
Maravilloso.
Wonderful, it's a beautiful place.
Tan bonito como en las películas.
It's beautiful just like in the movies.
Hasta los policías, todo es bonito como.
Even all the police as well.
Well, we are grateful that you made it here. We're going to do everything we can to make this place a real home for you.
Dice que está agradecido que estén acá y que van a hacer todo lo posible para que puedan encontrar un hogar. They're very grateful that this is a dream for them. Mucho gusto. Gracias. Nos vemos en el trabajo. Gracias. We'll follow up. Es el alcalde, ¿cómo está? Daniel. Vamos a recogerlos en una, tal vez...
Yo tengo dos, el de 2 y la niña de 4. Vamos a regresar el día de mañana a un lugar cercano, ahí vamos a quedarse, bañarse, tener no vamos a saber si necesita un tipo de medicación, preocupaciones de ustedes, un tipo de emergencia, o lo que sea. No, el barrio de no, hace 2 días, pero ya le quedó la
el alcalde también parece que vamos a asegurar que vamos a venir ya pronto y ojalá podamos la
gracias.
¿Cómo se llama su nombre? Daniel.
Y Michelle. Gracias.
Okay.
Ya, gracias.
Making it through this journey as a city. We're going to do everything we can to make this place, your opportunities more comfortable.
Se va a asegurar de trabajar para darle la bienvenida y que eso está bien.
Discovered and extracted. The people, the citizens of that country or that region, do not benefit from that financial windfall.
They do not. They do not.
No. And Venezuela is an oil exporting country.
Mm-hmm. So why is there poverty? Why is there distress?
Oil,
yes.
Right. When you mention oil, then the corporate interest moves in. The corporate interest, the big oil corporations move in. And they make deals with corrupt government leaders. And the benefits of that wealth does not reach the citizens of that country. The wealth is extracted and placed in the coffers of the international corporate structure. So how can I, yes, poverty brings about behavior that is not normal. To feed your children, housing, the basic necessities for human life. And in order to contain the citizens in the proceeds from the natural minerals, the natural resources, is not spent on the citizens of that country. Venezuela is an oil exporting country.
Yes.
It has massive deposits of oil. So where is all of this poverty coming from? How come they are so poor that they turn against one another? They turn against one another. And turmoil is developed. Violence, gangs, street gangs, for survival. Now, as I stated a few months ago, that the situation of immigration is not a municipal responsibility. It is a government responsibility. When we look at the Statue of Liberty, if I'm not mistaken, it is engraved on the Statue of Liberty. Send us your poor. Send us your huddled masses. Send us those that are yearning for liberty. Well, that's a government policy. That is a national invitation. So the proceeds for financing that should not be placed on municipal cities that don't have the funds to house the immigrants. The nation invited them. These people are not saying, I am going to Chicago when they leave Venezuela. They don't say, I'm going to New York. They say, I'm going to the United States of America, for they have invited us. They have an open door. So I agree with the mayors of these cities. They are appealing to the United States government to help them finance this large influx of immigrants. Matter of fact, when the scourge of homelessness in this country, every major city, are people living in tents, squalor, no housing.
Right.
And what is the federal government's response to that? What? To build more arms? To build more planes that cost $1 million a piece? To build more arms? Each bomb costs I don't know how many millions?
It's outrageous.
Our budget is, no one knows the extent of the Pentagon budget. But we're able to afford to wage war all around the world with these expensive war tactics. And
war creates poverty.
And none of the money is spent on the general welfare. Somewhere I read, to promote the general welfare, to promote the general well-being of our citizens. That is a government statement. That's a federal statement, to promote the general welfare.
And that is what we should be doing.
There is a dichotomy.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, you're right. That's what we should be doing. Now, I have up on the screen now an article about the Venezuela crisis. It says 3 in 4 in extreme poverty, study says. It says 3 in every 4 Venezuelans live in extreme poverty, a study said, as a years-long severe economic crisis in the oil-rich nation continues, as you just said. Now, why are they poor if they got oil? And it says researchers at Andres Bello Catholic University, UCAB, linked the increase to both the pandemic and a fuel crisis. Since 2014, the country has suffered from shortages of basic supplies and hyperinflation. Millions of people are in need of aid. The government has not commented, but it often says U.S. sanctions are to blame. Critics, however, say the crisis is a result of President Nicolas Maduro's economic mismanagement. Public services have collapsed, unemployment has soared, and the local currency, the bolivar, is almost worthless. According to the report, the National Survey of Living Conditions in COVID, extreme poverty rose to 76.6% from 67.7% last year. Someone is considered to be in extreme poverty when living on less than $1.90, which is $1.40 a day in the currency, the bolivar. Chronic fuel shortages, which became worse in 2020, and lockdowns introduced to curb the spread of COVID-19 were the main contributing factors, the study said. The poorest were the hardest hit as they were unable to find work in a country where 1 in 2 people is working in the informal economy, and many live hand to mouth. The rise in extreme poverty reversed the improvement seen in the previous year, which came after the government started direct cash transfers to those in need and implemented economic changes, including the relaxation of price controls. Now we're looking at this, and it says, despite having the largest oil reserves in the world, Venezuela has seen the collapse of its oil industry, responsible for almost all of the government revenue, after years of underinvestment and mismanagement. Most recently, tough U.S. sanctions on oil exports, introduced as a result of the disputed 2018 presidential election, have contributed to the crisis. The Encovi report estimated that the Venezuelan gross domestic product, GDP, which is the total of all value added created in the economy, shrank 74% between 2014 to 2020. Now this, as you can hear, is a created crisis. There was sanctions against the government, which the United States didn't agree to the outcome of the election. So you've got oil that should be making the country wealthy and its citizens wealthy. How is it that you're having the largest oil reserves in the world, the economy collapses? It doesn't make any sense. So it's a created crisis. And when people don't have the means to survive, they turn on each other. You could say the same thing as far as America goes. We've got all of this wealth, and yet we have gang violence that's severe. Why is there gang violence when there's so much wealth that no one needs to take from anybody? It's a created crisis. So how do we remove the created crisis? We've got some callers on the line. We'll take a couple of callers. Oh, wait a minute. We got 2 callers here too. Yes. Well, let me make a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll go to 314. We'll go to 314-677. We have Reverend Fellows on the line, and we've got we'll go to your switchboard. We're gonna take a quick break and be right back. And if you're listening online and want to join this conversation, we invite you to give us a call, 515-605-9325 or 515-605-9891. And you can also reach us on the on-air network at 727-731-5192, because we want to hear from you. And you're listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif, along with our co-host, Kareem Hamid, and we will be right back. So stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be right back after this brief message. So stay with us.
Dear residents of Chicago, Cook County, with great excitement, I announce that I am your candidate for full circuit Cook County judge for this Democratic primary, March 19th, 2024. As a seasoned lawyer, I am a proud native of Chicago, a product of Longwood County, Olive Harvey Chicago City College, Roosevelt University, and the University of Denver College of Law. With over 25 years of experience in criminal and civil matters, that equips me to handle the challenges that come with the role of full circuit Cook County judge. I am dedicated to ensuring that as a judge, all individuals are treated with fairness and consideration. Many community members and colleagues who trust my legal insight, intuition, have recommended me for legal work and recruited me for pro bono work and community service programs. They know I listen. Humbly and respectfully, I ask for your support. Thank you. Family and friends, Punch 148. Elect Democratic candidate Miss Wendy Williams for judge, March 19th, 2024. Paid for by Wendy Williams for judge. I am Wendy Williams, and I approve of this message.
Are you ready to show the world what you've got? We're excited to announce the latest global virtual teen talent contest, where you win cash prizes and scholarships by performing your unique talent. Here's how to participate. 1. Record a 1-minute video of yourself performing your talent. 2. Upload the video, link in description or comments. 3. Submit your video by the deadline. We're looking for a wide range of talents, from singing and dancing to magic tricks and comedy skits. So whether you're a musician, an actor, or a chef, we want to see your unique talent. The top talents will be selected by a panel of judges and will be announced shortly after. So don't wait, start filming, and good luck.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms.
And we are back. You're listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif and all our co-hosts, Kareem Hamid and our American Muslim 360 family, joining us on this Wednesday. And of course, we want to hear from you. We're talking about migrants in America, community crisis, or growth opportunity. Well, let's go to our phone lines. We'll take a call on this line, and we'll go to your switchboard, and we'll go back to our switchboard. I believe we got We're even on the line on our on-air network, and we've got, let's see, 314-677. Grand Rising. Introduce yourself to our listening and viewing audience and give us your thoughts about the migrant crisis or opportunity.
I agree with Barbara Jordan's eloquent speech done at the Texas legislature on immigration. I put both videos there on your Facebook outlet. You should listen to that.
And what did Barbara Jordan say?
She says immigration is not a right, it's a privilege.
That's true.
He says it's a privilege. And we have laws for immigrants to immigrate into the United States. And those laws should be followed. The United States have been giving aid to South American countries by the millions to address the problems that supposedly that people are fleeing from. And it doesn't make sense to walk through 8 countries to come to the U.S. border, then cross into it illegally. You got countries all along the way: Panama, Belize, Costa Rica, Colombia. Go to those countries. They're more conducive to your culture and your diet. Also, those countries, those 3 northern sisters that they call them, Guatemala, El Salvador, and Venezuela, they belong to the Organization of American States, which is their UN. They're supposed to address those problems. That's not a United States problem. And I say that if this country is spending money on those quote-unquote refugees, then they should be made to pay for it. Why should American citizens be made to board that type of expense? It doesn't make any sense at all. And if you're in the country illegally and you are acquiring assets, those assets should be seized the same way that they seize the assets of someone that's doing illicit activity in this country, like dealing in drugs. It takes your boat, your cars, your bank account, so on and so on. And money that's being sent out of the country by way of wire transfer, they should be taxed. Should have a tariff on it in order to help recoup that which American citizens are spending. And I don't understand it now. As big as the prison population that we have in the United States, should you not rehabilitate those Americans that's in prisons so they can come out and be productive citizens and contribute to the well of all of the country? Immigration is not supposed to make you better. You're supposed to come to a country and make it better, not take from. And that can be very, very disastrous. I know you agree with that. I haven't heard any pushback.
Well, I'm letting you get your whole statement out because I know that some people disrupt when they disagree, but I think the intelligent thing to do is to hear your entire thought. And I agree that what should happen is that those who have been incarcerated should be rehabilitated in order to better contribute to the country. And I agree that those who come into a country should come by legal means. I agree that these things should happen, and they would happen if the intention was for the general welfare of the people. If that was the intention, if your intention is right, then your actions will always follow. But if you set somebody's house on fire and they run to a neighbor's house, the neighbor could easily say, well, look, I don't want you in my house. But the issue is someone set your house on fire. You ran somewhere that you thought was safe. That might not have been the next door, and that might not have been the next door. There might have been people down the street that had a better, warmer house or whatever. But the problem is that somebody set your house on fire. That's the thing that shouldn't have happened, because your response was to that crisis. So if our intention is to rehabilitate people who are in prison, then we would not create the crisis that causes them to be in prison in the first place. We would not create the extreme disparity between the haves and have-nots as what has happened when there is plenty of wealth here, and yet there is an absence of access to knowledge and skills where people could contribute and be of benefit to the society.
I got a response to that.
Oh, I'm sure you do. I mean, and the people are inside the prisons doing all kinds of work, but then they can't get out and get paid to do that same work that they're doing for little or nothing inside the prison. So was the intention really to help them or to exploit the fact that they're behind bars and have to work? What is the intention? If the intention that we have in treating people right is corrected, then all the problems created by bad intentions would disappear. So what was the intention behind destabilizing Venezuela? What was the intention? It definitely was not to help that oil-rich country to be able to take care of itself so that we wouldn't see the rise in the gangs and the drugs. But who benefits from the drug trafficking? Not the poor people in the long run, but those who orchestrate these things. So can we correct the intention so that people can, in fact, respond in a way that is helpful and not crisis motivated? So I know you had a response before we take the next caller.
Well, yes, I have a response because Venezuela is a sovereign nation, and that's their problems, not the problems of American citizens. We have our own problems to work with.
Well, we appreciate your thought.
We're not supposed to be. If the United States citizens spend $10,000 to help Venezuela, then we need to go in and take out $10,000 worth of oil to compensate United States citizens for the money that they expended.
Well,
that's my thought.
Well, we appreciate your thought, and there are people who share that thought. But there is a reality that we should have learned, especially from COVID. We're not separate nations anymore. This is one world, and we're all connected economically, socially, politically. So everybody's affecting everything. Just like if somebody with COVID sneezes into the air or coughs into the air, it's not just their air, it's everybody's air that's affected, and they're spreading the germ, and air travels. So it's the same thing. If we have an economic policy, that's not just affecting that nation, that's affecting the people in the nation, that's affecting who they trade with, that's affecting the whole world, ultimately, because we are all connected. So every policy that we have in America is affecting the world. And so when we make these decisions, it affects the world, ultimately.
We are the United States citizens under the bounds of the U.S. Constitution, not whatever Venezuela had. And looking at those women that come across the border from Venezuela, they full hip, full breast, wearing new tennis shoes and so on and so on. I don't think they're doing all that bad to me, but that's what I see. So no, take care of your own nation, follow the law. The Democratic Party is trying to bring these extra persons in order to try to create and form new congressional districts where the people can't vote anyway. They're not supposed to be voting federally. They're just being counted. And that's all it's all about.
Yes.
And your last two mayors, this one here, I don't know how y'all are so lucky to get these mayors like this Brandon. But you announced that you are a city that want to take in people of this nation. Well, the other states got a right to, well, they should just let you have as many as you want. I stand with Texas myself. I think what they're doing is an excellent job. I think that the 23 states that's also helping to provide National Guard so they can protect their borders. That's Texas. Texas is a sovereign country, sovereign state. Federal government has no power in Texas unless Texas asks for it, and they need to stay out of there.
Well, you know, that sounds nice.
Protect the national borders. The national borders end at the water line.
Well, you know what?
This, you're in a state's country.
Okay. Well, that sounds nice to say, but the reality is that because people import and export from other states, and there is no state in the United States that is totally independent where they don't need any other products from anybody else, so they can say we're all sovereign. That didn't work even with the Civil War when the South thought it could succeed from the North because they thought they had an independent economy and they thought they could trade independently with England and France. That didn't work though, did it? Because you have people who are involved in the production and the distribution that are beyond your borders, and there is no independent anything anywhere in the world. Everybody's depending on everybody now, whether we like it or not.
One state, Texas seceded from Mexico, didn't it? It works just fine. It works just fine.
If it did, they would not have been in the crisis where they had to send people away. But anyway, we got to take another caller. Thank you so much,
They're
Bianca.
not supposed to take on anybody else's people. I don't know if you guys get these sociology attitudes, but Chicago should put together a dominant social system where they can take in people not only from Venezuela, but China, Congo, Uganda.
Well, now
a big happy family affair. Anyway, I'll talk to you later.
Well, thank you so much for your thoughts, because there are those who may share those thoughts. And now we can talk about what is a helpful way to address the issue other than fear and hostility. I believe we have Reven on the line.
Yes. Good morning.
Yes. And then we'll, after that, and after this call, then Kareem will go to your line after that. Yes, Reven, go right ahead with your comments. I know you've been very vocal in this issue of migrants getting resources that the citizens who live here have not been able to get. So what are your thoughts?
Mine is a little different. I appreciate the education that he was dropping, and let's be clear, it's a pandemic. Ain't got to do with all that virus stuff. That's planned. So understand it allows them to put the pandemic money together with the governor and with the mayor here and hide all the money that we supposed to got because we was the most hardest hit. And now with emergency crisis, using that money to give the migrants and other people coming here. So let's be clear of the hidden hand that Elijah talked about. The other thing, we ain't no citizens. And people might be arguing with me. You're not American citizens. And we are black people, the first chosen people from God. We're acting like slaves, like we're ignorant, deaf, dumb, and stupid at the same time. There's no way we could be in Chicago and 20 black aldermen and a black mayor-elect tell us we can't put on the ballot if we want sanctuary cities. You do not have a democracy in Chicago, and we are not considered citizens. If 20 black aldermen can tell us that in a black mayor we elect, in a town we got the first black president, the first black mayor, and 190-something black elected officials, and we got the first Carol Mosey Brown. We got the first everything, and we don't own nothing, don't control nothing. We in Chicago are just like slaves. That's where we are. Y'all I appreciate the education, but our people in Chicago are not at that level of understanding because there's not been a voters registration, voters education since pandemic. So how you gonna talk truth to power and ain't nobody being registered? It looks like we last five, last high. A young black man can't read, is being kicked out. We give them marijuana money, and the dispensaries are owned by all white people and young boys in jail with a joint. So we are not being treated like citizens. We're not standing up like the children of God, and we're letting people boss us around. The mayor is 40-something years old. He's from Elgin, telling a bunch of grown adults, pastors, what to do and how to go when it's not right what he's doing. With that being said, I'll get to some answers, but we're having a conversation where everywhere you go, black people are catching hell. And they're not considered citizens in every major city where we getting shot and dope and crack. Then the report says Metropolitan that the economy in Chicago is losing $4.4 billion with institutional racism. That is the amount of money we're losing. State Rep Ford asked for $1 billion executive order from J.B. Pritzker. Well, that we didn't get nobody signed a petition. And then find out this money was there that Deshaun was talking about because now you see it going to the migrants. But I know I'm going all over the place, but it's really frustrating to me to look at with all this, every national leaders, all this voters registration, all this education, the Chicago being the most powerful political understanding, educated, supposed to be black activists, and they tell us we can't vote for some comment on the ballot. So Illinois was the first state to sign on to the 13th Amendment that says involuntary servitude and you still a slave. That's Chicago. So I've been trying for 3-4 months, December 6th, December 18th, and February 1st, when this thing was supposed to be rectified. So I've written up a bill, Sister Naima, I'll talk to you about it.
Okay.
Colorado was the first to take it off the bill. So now in Chicago, we need to be organizing to get this book. We talk about them in jail, the Constitution and what's happening. They were the first. So the jails are full of black men and other people because that was the initial statement. We had the migration. We need to get it off the books so we can talk about the formerly incarcerated coming home. So I'll talk more about that, but I just want
I'd like to know.
Offline, but this is very frustrating to me. Hear me now. There's been no voters registration. Nobody talking about early vote at a massive level. And so how are we talking about we are part of a political process? We're going to turn some red, black, or green when we're not ready to vote. I went to the reparations meeting last week over on the west side. We had a few people show up. We had music. We had fun. We had conversation. But we didn't get down to business about reparation. Our argument ain't migration, immigration. We want that paper that y'all owe us for killing our great-grandmothers, our great-grandfathers, and our ancestors. Without that conversation, we are not citizens. That's what Reeve said.
Okay, so I got a question for you, Reeve. The bill that you're introducing, what does it entail? What are you having done in that bill? What does it state?
Martin Luther King said we got to get the language right. We got to take the language out because right now, brothers in there, like you say, they working for $1 an hour, 15. They're working for slave labor inside the prison.
Mm-hmm.
So the involuntary slave, once you commit the crime, you're still a slave. We got to get the language out because the language is on the book since the migrations when the people came to Bronzeville and we're locked up. If that is the attitude and the energy, then you're going to continue. So our grandchildren and children and the RICO Act is going to lock up all our grandchildren. So I'm asking the ex-offender returning community, especially black women who got their sons locked up, we got to get this thing off the books and tell our elected officials we want the 13th Amendment law that says we're involuntary servitude and you're a slave off the books so then we can get into some business about getting them trained before they come home and asking for what they really need. If we don't do that, it's just like anything else. House nigga, field nigga. Jay-Z say we still niggas.
Okay. So, Reeve, basically what you're saying is that we know that slavery was extended through the 13th Amendment and it was just basically transported to the prisons, which is why the prison industry is big business. It's to keep slavery and keep involuntary servitude and make it legal by having people duly convicted of a crime. So we know that that is happening. You're saying that needs to be removed so that slavery can actually be abolished as we were promised it was abolished, but it really was not. So that makes total sense.
That, again, in Illinois, the key is while we're in the migration, the great migration, when they came here in Brunswick, the people was running here to get free. But in the prison, they took us on the prison. So people are working for cheap labor. So it's not surprising if the attitude of Lincoln and all that movement was lock up black people in slavery concept. If you don't get around to get rid of that institutional slavery mentality, then you'll get your numbers. Let's get the language right, Martin said. Get the language right.
Okay, so now one other thing before we go to the next caller and then take a break. There's a whole lot of work that needs to be done. I mean, it's not like there is not work that needs to be done and that we need a whole lot of people to do it. There's enough work for everybody to be employed, whether they're working for livable wages or working and in exchange receiving housing. I mean, there's no reason for anybody to not have something to do that contributes to the welfare of the society. All it takes is just organizing people, and that is doable. So do you see a possibility where we can create a system where everybody is working and all the jobs that need to be filled in order for this society to work can be done, and everybody can have a place to live and adequate clothes to wear? Isn't that possible if we had a desire to do that?
It is possible. There's some laws in place to keep it from happening, and there's some bills in place to make it happen, and there's some things we work with the technology now for in the next 15 years or no. We need the technology. You don't have to have a big college degree to make $100,000 a year in technology. So we're doing robotics and STEM, introducing our young people, because there's going to be millions of jobs that they're going to be high in tech. We got to carve out where do we fit with our children who can use their phones and don't want to go to college, and get them engaged in that technology to build robots and STEM, because they plan anyway. That's one move. We got to be rehabbing the houses on the block. We're buying up the block and then put these young men to work to do training, because the unions is low-hanging fruit. We don't have to get into no union stuff if you help us building porches and help us build Big Mama's house, and then to get these young men that they build a house that they can own. So the problem is, Naeem, and what you're saying is, you're talking to a man that's Reuben Fellows Geraldine's son with the Black Agenda. That's all I've been doing for 50 years, trying to organize the women, organize the men with a strategic plan, writing policies, and somehow they keep ignoring me like I don't have credibility, street cred, business cred, Bob Biz Center, First Black Labor Union, Museum, Blacks and Greens, Sustainable Community, National Block Club, University. I'm saying that not to brag, but I'm the conduit of all the relationships that I'm trying to bring us together. Like right now, I've been trying to get the Black women together for Women's Month. The young lady got killed, beat to death, 61 years old, by a Black brother out of jail on probation on Roosevelt and State. I've been talking to Black women and talking to Black men. We need to say something about this woman getting beat to death right there at the green line, red line, with the police there. It was 1 o'clock, but how did she get beat to death to stop by a Black man right down there in the loop, and then Black women don't come together to make a statement and ride down there every day unsafe? So I've been trying to get the brothers to get together for security. The women get mad like I'm mad. The report says for 20 years, Black women are 16% of the population in Chicago only, and they've been the number one murdered, killed, raped, and maimed, and there's no crying out loud about first mother, first teacher, and their daughters. We're dumbing down. We lost our empathy for everything. We need a resurrection from God, but it has to start with the women who praying every day, pray the devil back to hell. So I want to talk to you offline about it, but how do a Black woman get killed on Roosevelt Estate, beat up to death by a Black man? I understand it ain't been happening, but that's one you get on like Rosa Parks. That's the one you get on like the first Black woman, everything. We have to take that and ride it. That brings attention to the red line. What are y'all doing for security, Black women? Black men need to be hired for security to go work with them to protect Black women. If we're not going to care about a Black woman being stomped to death and murdered, then what is the world we live for?
Well, Reuben, we'll definitely have that.
The rest of it value.
Well, you know, Reuben.
Amen. Amen, Reuben.
Absolutely.
I need to do that.
Well, we will definitely. Well, we gotta. Well, Minister Plum, we'll get you. We're gonna go to the American Muslim 360 switchboard after this, and Reuben, we'll definitely have a conversation offline. My statement before we take this break is basically this: we know what we need to do, and there's nothing stopping us from doing it. Everything doesn't have to come through a politician or a government entity when organizations and people have the power to create. We have the power to create a security force. We have the power to create a organized effort to restore our housing. We have the power to create everything we need, and we always have the ability to share what we have. So there really is nothing stopping us from enacting every single thing you have proposed. We just need to make the decision to do it. That's all. So we're going to take a quick break and come back. Thank you so much, Reuben.
Wrong, called Geraldine, sir.
Well, yes, sir.
You You right, all right. Well, thank you, sister, for allowing me to say that, and no disrespect to the audience, but we are at the bottom, and we're the first. God is not pleased with black people. We got to rise up. Black women, quit acting like you the victim. God and brought you, Sister Naomi, and them other sisters that are being mothers. He brought y'all to the highest level. We no longer victims. We got to testify and push forward and put pressure on principalities and higher places.
I definitely agree. There are no victims. We have the power. Well, thank you so much. We got to take one last break, and we'll be right back. We're going to switch to our American Muslim 360 switchboard and take those calls. And then, of course, we're going to come back and take some more from our Female Solution switchboard and then go back to our on-air switchboard. And we'll also share some of your comments on Facebook and YouTube. And we'll be right back after this quick break. So we want you to stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be back in just one moment, so stay with us.
Have you ever dreamed of going to exotic places, meeting fascinating people, enjoying uplifting music, and spending nights in a luxurious hotel? Do you look forward to a relaxing vacation where you can walk along the beach or sit in a quiet park and enjoy the sunset or sunrise? Whether you're flying around the world or driving across the country, we will share travel tips that will help you stay safe while you enjoy the journey. Join me every third Saturday of the month, 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, and move around with Deborah here on the Female Solution Show. Call in and comment 515-605-9325 and press 1 to speak. We have an opportunity to transform the whole global society in the next 50 years. 50 years from now, the earth will be populated by a new generation of adults, many of whom are yet unborn. Our mission is to nurture them in childhood with love, guidance, and protection, and to raise them in healthy, happy families. If we impart values of compassion, generosity, and respect for fellow human beings in the next generation of children, they will create a world where people can live together in peace. This is our goal. Be a part of the transformation. Get your copy of the book, The Female Solution. Go to www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com.
We are back. You're listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif, along with our co-host Kareem Hamid and our American Muslim 360 family on the line joining us. And we are so appreciative of all of you all who are weighing in on this discussion on migrants in America, community crisis or growth opportunity. Let's take a few statements before we go to our American Muslim 360 switchboard. And Carolyn Ruff joins us, says, I'm enjoying your show, Queen. Thank you, Carolyn. One of our very powerful activist sisters in Chicago. And she says the prisons are making the license plates. And you know, every car's got to have a license plate. That is a business, isn't it? And it's almost free labor. So yes, we know what is happening. And our Monday morning mindfulness host at HLN TV show says, Grand Rising, beautiful people. Reuben Fellows is so on point. Yes, he is. And we're grateful for those who have visions of what can be done. Because we do, in fact, have the power to end this crisis. We say it all the time. All we have to do is share. And so if we know that there is a need for housing, then we should be developing housing. And we have the capacity to fix up every boarded up house and apartment building and have the people who need housing to live in those houses. We have the power to do that. We have the power to teach, we have the power to create, and we have the power to empower. So let's take that power and stop looking for someone else to make the decisions. Leadership is when you are headed in a direction and you know where you're going. That's why people follow.
Hallelujah.
So there we are. So, Minister Plum, before we get to you, we're going to go to our American Muslim 360 switchboard, and then we'll come back to you and get your comments. Brother Kareem, do you want to open the mic for your caller? Go right ahead.
Yes, 810-399. Welcome to the Female Solution. Please state your name and where you're calling from, please. Take your phone off of mute. 810-399. Okay, I'm going to move forward. Okay, I'm going 727-408. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
Assalamu alaikum. East Side audience. This is Bilal from Hudson, Florida. You know, God didn't send prophet and messengers to a people to deal with them with cold reasoning and lack of compassion. So we have allowed Satan to enter our soul and corrupt our intellect, and we'll be on the line talking like the brother who talk about the Venezuela, the immigrant, the migration to America. That love him. Speaking in that kind of tone, in that kind of way. Many times people be abused, they become abuser. And I think what happens, he abused it in his intellect. He's not seeing a picture that Jesus or God would want him to see. And I'm thankful to Allah for the brother who came after him. And inshallah, maybe Imam Kareem, we can get that brother on AM 360 program. I would love to have him come on the program and as one of your guests. And I would love to see that happen. Assalamu alaikum.
We can certainly make that happen. Thank you so much, Brother Bilal. We appreciate it. Yes, we appreciate your input. And we can go back to the on-air switchboard. Minister Plump, you had a comment regarding the migrant crisis. Do you see this as something we can benefit from, even though there's a large influx of Spanish-speaking people in non-Spanish-speaking neighborhoods? I see it as an opportunity for us to have our populations become multilingual because of the need for us to talk to each other, and phone apps which now make it possible for you to speak the words into the phone and then the phone gives you the translation. That's a faster way to learn Spanish than we've been learning in the classrooms. And because we are one world community, we need to be multilingual. And Americans, we're kind of crippled in that way because everybody else speaks more than one language but us. So this is our opportunity. That's what I see as one of the benefits. But what are your thoughts on this?
Way on ya, shalom, hurrah. We don't die, we multiply. Back is beautiful as you are, a superstar, Sister Naima Latif. Thank God for the Female Solution.
Yes,
It's your brother, Minister Plump, Robert Floyd Plump. And first of all, there's enough for everybody. God created, Allah is God, and created everybody and everything. However, we, the original authentic people, the Asiatic people, we do the so-called American Negro. We need to be back in the position as Brother Reverend Fellows. And I want everybody to go to Robert Plump Facebook page, update, and see what's going on. And look at all the other brothers and sisters and superstars, men, women, and children
and give me a call, Reverend Fellows, Brother Kareem, and everybody else. Give me a call at 312-882-5935 after you go to the update and you see and give me a respond to who on Robert Plump Facebook page is better than you, Sister Naima.
Well, we appreciate you putting out the word. We appreciate we certainly do appreciate that.
Rashida Ali, she got a T-shirt, a new T-shirt, and the name of the T-shirt is All Lives Matter. And you know, Brother Plump promote that. We promote Black Love Matters too, and we promote right now. We are promoting Everybody Can Help, and I promoted that on WBON program a couple of weeks ago on Saturday morning program on Dorothy Tillman's, my soul superstar 23. See, this is 23 week, Sister Naima, but we promoting West Indies Bakery Incorporation, the godmother, Normal Stephenson, and
okay. Well, I'll send you the link. Well, I'll send you the link so you can send them the. Okay. Well, Minister Plump, we're going to give you an opportunity. We're going to give you an opportunity to make some money. We're going to send you the link. You can send to them. They can become an advertiser, and you can get paid for that. So we appreciate that. But we want you to get paid for what you do. So we're going to make sure that we make that happen. So you can be one of our prosperity partners and make sure that they get regular promotions on the show. So we'll make that happen. Thank you so much, Minister Plump. We appreciate you. And Brother Kareem, do you have another caller on your switchboard? Otherwise, I'll go to one of the ones on our. And thank you so much, Minister Plump. We'll talk after the show and make that connection. And let's go to area code 319-457 and get your thoughts. Give us your name, where you're calling from, and your comments.
Good morning. This is Cooper James. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know the severity of what's going on. Same thing went on back in 1918 with the Spanish flu, and also the invasion came. They're getting ready to replace Black folks, and we house these people in our home. Now, yeah, the economic opportunity, whatever, that's agreeable, but we gotta lock down our home, lock down our businesses, and keep doing what we're doing. Keep our progression going, because I'm telling you, what's next? They're going to take all those homes out here in Chicago and all the Democratic cities where they place these people, because they didn't place them in the Republican states. They put them in the Democratic states. Okay? Baltimore, California, Chicago, New York. They're getting ready to take all those homes in those Democratic states that Black people own. If you don't pay your mortgage, your property tax, they're about to take your home. They put these people in police departments. They put them in shelters. Tents. They put them in shelters. Guess where they're going? They're going into your house.
So, Kufi, who is the they? Let me ask you this question: who is the they that we're all supposed to be afraid of? Who is they? Who are they? Who is this they that everybody's afraid is going to take everything?
The ones you voted for, you gave them consent to run your life. When you voted for a mayor, when you voted for a representative, when you voted for a senator, it's okay. You shut up, and I'm going to dictate to you now. I'm not going to ever ask you, how should I vote on this referendum, or how should I vote on this law? You gave me your vote. Now I'm going to run your life.
Now that's an interesting.
Okay, that's what's going on.
I'm glad that you made that statement.
Right now, we're all trying to be heard. It's too late. The check's been signed. The money been sent. By this time next year, you're gonna have Black folks being homeless. They're about to change. Maria Poppins. Oh yeah, he's going out here like a little celebrity. Oh, get your property tax money back. And guess what? If you don't pay your property tax in a few months, they're gonna take your home and give it to these immigrants. Y'all need to wake up. Y'all playing with fire. You all are playing with fire. I'm not letting this fire in my house. Now, if an immigrant asks me for some food, I'm going to give him some food so he won't rob me. That's how I look at it. If he needs some food, I'm going to give you some food. But that's it.
Well, Kufi, I am glad that you expressed that thought that many people have as an underlying fear, because fear is the greatest way to control people. And thank you for expressing that fear that many people have, that of course is unfounded. If you look at the power that you have to, let's say something simple. Let's say there's trash in front of your yard. And you get upset and you say, why won't the city pick up this trash? Why won't the city fix up this neighborhood? But then you have people who will go outside and take a trash bag and put on some gloves and pick up the trash. And then it's clean. And they didn't have to ask their alderman. They didn't have to ask the mayor. They didn't have to ask the governor. They just chose to go out and pick up the trash. Like, I've said this before. I watch people in China every day get out and just clean up the area in front of their business. They just did it. And this is really what we're talking about. Just do what needs to be done. Don't ask somebody's permission. Don't put people in control of your life that don't have control of your life. You have control of your life. So if we want to, and a matter of fact, I believe L.A. Davis, who calls in all the time, told us this story about a boarded up house right in the neighborhood. And then suddenly this group of Spanish-speaking people came in, fixed up the house in one night. And the next day it was, they brought in their carpenters, their painters, and everything. Just did it. Just an act of cooperation. There's nothing that we can't do if we choose to simply cooperate. Share the expense, share the effort, share the time. We can do whatever is necessary. And there are organizations that are set up to do things. All we have to do is work together. It's a simple thing. We don't have to ask a single politician. So if, like you say, if we're giving people power over our lives, well, why are we doing that? Nobody has power over you. Nobody has power over you. Nobody. That's the delusion that creates the fear. If we will stop living under that delusion, we will stop reacting to a delusion that's in our own minds. Nobody's making us do anything, and nobody has the power to make us do anything. Nobody had the power to make us take that shot that we took. But all they had to do is just keep telling us the death toll of, oh, if you don't take it, you're going to die. So we made that decision. Nobody held you down and made you take a shot. You did it out of your own free will because you were induced by fear. Fear is a control mechanism. If you're living in fear, look at who's trying to make you afraid, because that's who's trying to control you. And you only are controlled by people when you consent to be. That is the lesson that we need to learn from this experience. We are the power over our own lives. We've got a couple of comments here we want to share with you all. And of course, our dear sister Zelda reminds us that today, Betty Shabazz International Charter School Spring Podcast Training Session number 9 is going to be heard live on the Higher Learning TV show, 2 o'clock to 2:30 p.m. Central Time. We're empowering our young people to speak. We're doing this. And they are showing us the intelligence that they have. And they're speaking to the world. And we're about to take them to trips across the world so that they can see that they have the power right in their own hands. And here's the direct link. You can just take a copy of that on your cell phone. You can go to the direct link, but it's on YouTube. You can watch live today, 2 o'clock Central Time. Our young people are giving us insight into the world that they have the power to create. And we're giving them that power by not letting them be overcome with fear that other people control them, because they don't. So we've got a few more minutes. Brother Kareem, you have any other callers on your switchboard? I think we might have
a caller here.
Well, let's go to
Yes,
AM
we do.
360 switchboard, and then we got 2 others on this board as well, 773-737 and 312-632. So we'll see if we can squeeze you all in before we go. Go right ahead.
Okay, I'm going to open up the mic at 810399.
Okay. You can give us about a minute before we take another call, whoever that is. Unmute.
Right. Whoever they are not answering, I'm going to open up the mic of 706627. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Brother Muhammad from the Ummah of Prophet Muhammad. And due to the time, all I can say is that we must remember that 360 is the #1 Islamic voice in America. And when we don't give Allah the opportunity to give the Islamic solution to everything we talked about today, everything, we had to get back to the universal order of how to help each other, how to deal with each other, how to take care of each other, maintain each other, etc. And not let the distraction of this Christian world and the other worlds that have we didn't stop anybody, and why?
Well, brother, what we do is not allow bashing of other people's religions.
You are defaming my brothers and my Christian brothers and my Christian sisters.
Am I your brother? Yes, sir. But those found out with you.
I'm trying to encourage you. Don't insult our spiritual family, my brother. That's all I'm saying. Don't do that.
Yes.
I can't tell the truth.
Amen.
I can't believe that I've been sitting here for an hour and so.
Yeah.
Brother Muhammad, Brother Muhammad, let me take the other call because they've been waiting a while. 773-737. We appreciate your zeal for Islam, but Islam is not anti everybody else. Islam is about peace for all humanity. So represent it as it is. Absolutely. So let's go to 773-737. Absolutely. 773-737.
Hallelujah, greetings, Global Transformers Grand Rise.
Hallelujah,
We've
greetings.
got to get the language straight.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
that begins with being on the right side of spiritual history and knowing who we are as crimes against humanity descendants and Jim Crow genocide survivors. Just saying we need unity without saying why we are not unified like other people, and saying there's enough for everybody. There is, but the problem is we've had a caste system until 1954 laws to keep the status of the Negro down, not everybody, and that was just changed in 1954. So if you see that movie Origin, it tells you about a caste system. Individuals are just not bigger than institutions. And we have had laws keeping us down, and we need to be repaired from the damage that we as a people, like no other people on the planet Earth, have gone through and are still going through. We need reparations to make us whole.
Well, thank you, Mama D. We appreciate your adding to this conversation. The greatest repair is the repair within ourselves, so that we can stop teaching what is false to our children. When we can teach our children love for all and hatred for none, then they will create a world where people can live together in peace. And this is our goal. So thank you so much, Brother Kareem, for being with us. If you're on our switchboard and get a chance to speak, we're sorry, we've got to go. It is time for us to depart. And we certainly do invite you to come on back tomorrow. We're going to shop with Zoe, as always, giving us economic opportunities here and abroad. And one last word before we go, Brother Kareem. We've got about 30 seconds before we have to sign off.
Yes, we are one soul. We are one people. We are one humanity.
There we are. Absolutely. Yes, we are. Thank you so much. And we will see you again tomorrow. And again, listen to our brilliant young children at the Betty Shabazz International Charter School Spring Podcast Training Session number 9 at 2:00 p.m. Central. Tune on into the Higher Learning TV show. We are making a difference every day. And until tomorrow, continue to shine your light.
Radio. Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, executive producer of the Female Solution radio show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Join us live on the on-air radio network. Call 727-731-5192. We want to talk to you.